My name is Glenn Hoffman. I'm the Executive Associate Athletic Director here at VCU. A lot of familiar faces in the room. Thanks for coming this afternoon. We have more food in the back, so if you need more food after the presentation, please let us know. We have a short program for you today, so we'll get started with it right away. First thing I want to do is I want to introduce our staff members. We have all of our development staff members here today with us. Russell Grimm, Lionel Bacon, Kevin Jackson is in charge of our ticketing area. In the back is Sean Wheeler, blue shirt, Abby Bergiker, and Ryan Barber is also from our ticket office. So you're probably familiar with a bunch of these individuals. We also have two members of our RAM Athletic Fund board with us today. The RAM Athletic Fund board is instrumentally involved in a lot of the decisions we make, especially as they pertain to ticketing, things of that nature. And in the back is our president, Harvey Hutchinson, and Rose Adams. So if you have any questions and are afraid to talk to any of the staff members, you can just go right to those two. Especially if you have any complaints, definitely go to those two. You don't need to go to any of us. We'll be glad to handle it for you. So, what do we want to accomplish today? First, we want to obviously provide you with a better understanding of the reseating process. So we're going to go through the donor seating map, which I think all of you have had access to. We'll go through priority seating limits, the correlation with the RAF benefits chart, capital campaign seating rights. I'm sure some of you are capital campaign members here. Some unique scenarios, the timeline, and just the whole reseating technology, which will not be any different than it really was the last time we did this. Now, following this presentation, we will have all those staff members that I just introduced. They'll all be available to you. So if you have any questions about your individual accounts, they'll be able to answer those questions. So if you have an individual account question, make sure you see one of our staff members afterwards. They'll be able to hopefully answer any questions you have with regards to that. We're doing this today. We're in the business of education, so this is part of the education. We want to make sure you all understand the process, how we went about the process, and what it means for you as some of our loyal donors and some of our biggest fans. So that's the purpose of today. As far as the presentation part of it, let us get through the presentation part of it. If you then have any general questions about the presentation, feel free to ask, and either I'll answer it, or one of the staff members will. What we would prefer you not do is, again, a specific question that you have related to your account. Hold off on that until we're done, and then you can see someone individually who has all the information about your account, and how much you donate, what you may need to donate to get in a certain section, whatever. Those questions can be handled by individual donors. So why are we reseating? We get asked that question once or twice every year. So basically, I think you need to know a little bit about what we're about, and ultimately we come to work every day focused on the student-athlete experience. Every decision that we make ultimately leads to the question: how will this impact our student-athletes? If the answer is it will affect them and impact them in a positive nature, chances are we will do something. If we think it's going to be have a negative impact, then we probably won't do it. So everything is student-athlete focused. We're reseating, obviously, over the last several years, the last 5-6 years, the RAM Athletic Fund has really grown, and then that's been really, really important. Our men's basketball program, you're going to hear a lot about the success of our men's basketball program. You've all been a big part of the success of the program, but that plays into the whole reseating process, as does maintaining success. I think the easiest thing we believe, and one of the things I think people understand a lot, is we love being a top 25 basketball program. That is one of our goals. The necessary evil, if you will, of being a top 25 basketball program is it does cost money. And you'll see our competitors. You'll recognize their logos. You'll recognize that they're probably spending a lot of money to be successful. Whether we like it or not, that's the company we keep. We need to do that in order to maintain the success. And then demand. Candidly, it's a great problem that we have. We have a pretty big waiting list. Kevin has to deal with that every year. So there is a demand for our season tickets. It's a hot property. It's a hot commodity. So that is one of the other reasons that we have to go through the reseating process. So I talked about student-athlete focus, and what you see up here is our core values. When we got here 4 years ago, we met as a department, and the entire department, as well as many of our other stakeholders, whether they be fans, board members, student-athletes, we all worked with a company, and we developed a strategic plan. And part of the strategic plan was really defining what our core values were going to be. So student-athlete focus is obviously the most important one. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Also talked about drive to excel, which is, we want to win championships. We want to win championships in basketball, but we also want to win championships in all of our other sports. So that's really important to us. And a lot of times, I've been at 4 schools, and our staff's been in a lot of other schools as well. A lot of times, athletic departments are afraid to say that, and coaches are really afraid to hear administrators say that. But we want to win, and we want to win championships. And the moment you walk into this department, you know that. Integrity, we want to win, but we want to do it with integrity. We're not into breaking rules. Some schools may be. That is a non-starter for us. Positivity, loyalty, collaboration, innovation, equity, diversity, and community. Those are all some of our other core values.
Okay. Glenn mentioned growth of the RAM Athletic Fund. So it is a testament to the people in this room and also the rest of our RAM Athletic Fund donors. A lot of you I know personally, and we know personally, so pretty much every time I'm at lunch or talking face-to-face with somebody, the easiest way I can correlate the growth of the RAM Athletic Fund is at our highest level. So this is the increase by donors over the past 2 fiscal years. I got here in 2013, and right before I got here, we had 25 members giving at the Scholarship Society. That moved to 33 in 2013, is currently at 49 individuals in the past fiscal year. So that is remarkable growth. That probably times up well with the Basketball Development Center. The resources that our student athletes, our coaches in this program need, you guys have answered the bell. And so it's a testament to yourselves as well. But it is an unprecedented time to be a RAM in terms of who's supporting us. We introduced the Platinum Society, $15,000 to $24,999 a year or 2 ago. We have 30 members at that level. Battering Rams, you see a dip because that level kind of split between the 15,000 donors and above and the Battering Rams at $10,000 to $14,999. But overall, that number has gone from 90 to 96 between the 2 levels. Champion Society, $7,500 to $9,999, growth there. Super Rams, we've seen an excellent bump. So we've had a lot of people step up to a $5,000 donation. And it continues across the board with the Directors Society, the Black and Gold Society, Captains, and then our Commonwealth Society. So we keep also the Ram Society in there, and you'll see these asterisks here. The Ram Society will be merging into this current fiscal year, so we'll address that in a little bit. But overall, you've seen the trends go from an increase in every level and an increase overall, and that's allowed us to continue the success that we've had. So if you're a chart person, this is the fiscal growth laid out over the past 6 fiscal years. 2009, 2010, $1,306,000, $527 in the annual fund. This past year, basically $3.1 million. That number will continue to grow, and it will need to continue to grow. That's, as Glenn addressed, that is a realistic situation that we are in to maintain this success. But, the reward is in what comes after that.
The success speaks for itself. And there's no better place to watch it all play out.
that video flashed some graphics, and you might not have had a chance to really take them in, but here they are laid out. We've reached our conference championship game each of the last 6 years. I had a donor come up to me at KBH in Brooklyn. He said, it never gets old playing for championships on Sunday. We share that feeling. We love to win here, like Glenn said. We have sold out 83 consecutive home games here. That is a testament to this fan base and the people in this room. Hopefully next year we'll hit 100. We are one of 8 programs in the country to go to the past 6 NCAA tournaments. Consider the company: Kansas, Duke, Michigan State, Gonzaga, Wisconsin, Cincinnati, North Carolina, and us, VCU. Then probably the most impressive, we are one of 2 teams to win at least 24 games each of the last 10 seasons, VCU and Kansas. That is elite.
You've heard about the success of the program, but as a former player, I'd like to tell you about maintaining the success of the program, which is equally as important. You've heard that we've been to the last 6 NCAA tournaments. We went to the Final Four in 2011, and there are a lot of schools that have made runs to the Final Four that have had little success since. So it's critical to us, it's critical to our program that we maintain that. Again, mentioning the Final Four and the 6 NCAA championship, 6 NCAA appearances, those have provided us with some opportunities to continue that success. And again, as a former player, I can tell you that where we were when I played was in a good place, but it's not where we are now. And I will also share something even more significant, that where we are now is great, but it's not our goal. Our goal is to continue to increase, to continue to get better, to get into multiple Final Fours and to win national championships. Some of the pictures you've seen here. This is our brand new state-of-the-art library on campus. And it's been said that athletics is the front door of the university. If that's the case, we've made some pretty significant renovations in our home as a result of what's happening on our front door. This right here is the new basketball development center, which is also the picture over there on the inside. We've come a long way, and I can tell you that every player, every former player that I take in there, including myself, the first time they walk in, it's hard to process where we are as an athletic department and as a basketball program. But we are where we are because of continued success, which we want to maintain. Over here, the flights. One of the things we've been able to do is fly charter to away games. And I'll give you 2 examples of why that's critical. As a former player, if we had a game on a Wednesday, we flew out sometimes Monday night. Best case scenario, we flew out Tuesday. We flew commercial. We would play, let's say if we played on Wednesday, flew out Tuesday. It means I missed the class on Tuesday. We played on Wednesday, so I missed the class on Wednesday. Because we flew commercial, we flew back on Thursday. So I missed the class on Thursday. So if I had a Tuesday, Thursday class, I missed that entire week of class. That's not where we are anymore. Now, where we are because of our success and what we want to maintain is that our kids can fly out after class on Tuesday, not miss any class on Tuesday, play the game Wednesday and fly back Wednesday night and be in class on Thursday morning. That's a huge difference. So not only academically is it critical for our kids in our program, but it's also, we're putting fresher athletes on the floor because of the lack of jet lag and flying right in, getting rest, shoot around, play the game, fly right back. This next slide here, you see these 2 tournaments, the Battle for Atlantis and the Maui Invitational. Those aren't those aren't tournaments that you make a phone call to and say, hey, I'd love for us to play in that tournament. Those are invite only, and those are only for the elite programs. My freshman year, we played in the Maui Invitational, and it was an unbelievable experience for me to go to Maui on behalf of basketball and on behalf of VCU. Unbelievable experience, but because of our success, we're able to do that. You see a couple pictures here of the hydrotherapy room from our basketball development center, and then the area where we eat, which is on the 2nd floor upstairs. Melvin Johnson. Our athletes are becoming spokespeople for the university. Melvin last night took the stage at our banquet. Unbelievable, the kind of person he has developed into over the last 4 years. The picture on the bottom is at the ribbon cutting at our grand opening for the Development Center. You see our coach here, Will Wade, and I think most of you probably follow the media and are aware of the Vanderbilt situation. Will didn't call Vanderbilt. We're in a situation now where every year other schools are calling us to inquire about our coaches. So again, where we were wasn't in a bad place. There are nine NCAA banners before the Final Four banner. So where we were was not in a bad place. We were in a good place. Where we are is in a great place, but it's not where we want to stay. We want to compete for national championships and multiple Final Fours. With your help, we can do that. So we appreciate everything that you do for us, and that's on behalf of a former player.
So as I have discussions with people as reseating comes up, one common question always comes up, and it's, is this the norm in college athletics? And when people ask that, it's kind of a two answer. It's yes and no. I'll start with the yes. As you can see here, there's some pretty prominent schools and institutions who practice similar reseating policies as us. And you may notice that the video that mentioned the 8 teams that had been in the last 6 NCAA tournaments, they're all on there as well. So, like Russell said, that's the company we want to keep, and that's where we consider ourselves among these elite programs. We talk with these schools, kind of the best practice in the industry. So the process you guys go through with the reseating, it's a similar technology, similar timeline and process as other schools. So on the flip side of that answer, programs that don't have reseating plans or reseating, and it's pretty much based on demand for their season tickets. And while we have respect for these institutions, if you go back to what Glenn said about our mission statement to win conference and national championships, in order to do that, we need to be in the other group. So if you look at those these schools on this slide, that's the company we want to keep, and that's where we want to move forward. So we kind of compare ourselves to those schools as far as the process of reseating. Glenn also mentioned the demand for season tickets, and I also referenced it on some of the schools that don't offer reseating. So I'm just going to go through some bullet points to demonstrate the enormous demand we've had over the last several years. So since the last reseating occurred, we've had 905 accounts sign up to get our season ticket waiting list. So we've been sold out of season tickets. These are donors and fans and people in the community who are interested in season tickets, but we've just been sold out and haven't been able to accommodate them. So each year, our renewal rate has ranged from 93 to 95%. So obviously, if that leaves 5 to 7% retention or turnover in season tickets, we're pulling a very small amount off that waiting list each year, and it's growing way faster than we were able to accommodate people. And to give you an idea on that 93 to 95%, we've all worked in several different athletic departments, have a lot of contacts across the country. The benchmarking goal and target for a lot of schools for a renewal rate is 80 to 85%. So we've continued to blow that away with our renewal process. And then just wanted to touch on, obviously, with the sellout streak, our season tickets have been sold out. That does lead to some questions on how we have single game tickets available. So every single season ticket we have available for sale, which is a reserved seat, is sold out. Through the student lottery process and getting tickets returned back to visiting teams that don't use their full allotment, or the team that might not use their full allotment, that's when we're able to sell single game tickets along with holiday break games when our students are away. So that's a question that's come up a lot, is how we have some single game inventory to move. And you may have noticed this year we had a record high 8 games over Thanksgiving and Christmas break. So we actually had some single game general admission and standing room seats available this year. And then I think everyone's probably seen the billboard on 95 highlighting our 83 game sellout streak. So also wanted to go over the season ticket priority limits for the upcoming year based on their donor level. So the Scholarship Society, you're able to purchase up to 10 seats. Platinum Society would be an 8-seat maximum. Battering Rams would be 8 seats as well. Champion Society is 6. Super Rams is 6. Director Society is 4. Black and Gold Society is 5 as well. Captain Society is 2. And you'll notice that one change this year, due to the demand of our donor base and season tickets, you need to be at a $500 giving level in order to be eligible for season tickets. So you'll notice the Ram Society at $100 to $499 does not give you access to any season tickets. So that's starting at the Captain Society level at $500.
So, a lot of you guys have hopefully seen all the information that we sent out in September and October. This is our projected seating chart for the upcoming reseating. Note that we say projected, it could adjust, but this is what we put out based on the demand that we have and the demand that we expect to continue. So we all lived the season. I don't think anything happened this season that would deter somebody that's a huge Rams fan from wanting to come back and get more. Kevin mentioned the season ticket priority limits. They're listed up here for your reference. These are important to note. So this red section, a $10,000 annual donation is required to enter that red section. So if you have one ticket and you pick in the red section when your time comes, it's a minimum $10,000 donation. It is the same for 8 seats. So a lot of times when we're out meeting with donors one-on-one, those meetings are for the intent of really kind of understanding the nuts and bolts of this. So keep in mind, we will have 5 setups after this to kind of ask individual questions, but this is an overview of what the projected chart will look like. So a lot of people say, what if I get 6 seats? What's my required donation? You must be a Super Ram to get 6 seats. You must donate at $5,000 to get 6 seats. Does not matter where they are in the arena. You have to start at a minimum of $5,000. So then from that, the hope and expectation is you would be selecting in this light blue zone that we have listed as $5,000. A lot of people came to us after last reseating. They said, I'm giving you $2,500, but I'm sitting in a $1,000 section. The reality is it's a supply and demand issue. So we have said that this is a projected chart. We reserve the right to go back out and adjust it. As donations come in, we're tracking that, and we'll be in touch with you if that's something that we go through with. But keep in mind that the demand for this program and the involvement here at VCU, people want to be involved and people want to come back. So that is a changing thing. And a lot of times, after the reseating, people would get involved and get season tickets a year or two after with that 5 to 7% turnover rate, and they'd say, I'm giving you $5,000, but I'm seating in a $1,000 seating section. Well, that is a matter of supply and demand. So we do our best to look. There's a lot of math that goes into this. Ryan and Kevin did a great job in terms of breaking down average number of tickets, average donation, all this information. And really one thing, too, that's important to note, and we'll talk about this, many people often ask about capital campaign seating rights. So this chart was probably a little jolting to some people when it first came out, and we understand that. We would like to be a bit more aggressive with it on the front end, where people aren't feeling like, after the reseating, hey, I gave you this amount of money and I ended up sitting here. We would like it to be more in line with where we're at as donors and also where we're going with donors. So this is an overview. The nuts and bolts of the reseating are really, you're ranked by your RAM ranking. So your selection time dictates when you pick, but then your annual donation dictates where and how many seats you can pick. So you guys all have this information in the booklets in front of you. I believe it's on page 2. But the priority point RAM ranking system. So a concern that we hear a lot is, I've had season tickets since 1979, 1987, 1994, whatever it might be. I don't feel that you're properly rewarding loyalty. I think it's important to note we award our highest level of points outside of your membership level annual points, which expire at the end of each annual level, to consecutive years of men's basketball season ticket purchase. So you get 3 points per consecutive year. You get 2 points per season ticket for men's basketball in the current season. So if you have 6 season tickets, you would get 12 points for that. And then the easiest part is 1 point per $100 contributed lifetime. So on the benefits chart in front of you, you do see a membership level points bump. A lot of people in a reseating year will increase from one level to the next. In addition to the additional finances that you're inputting, you move up a certain number of points per level. So it starts with Scholarship Society, you get 120 annual points. At the end of the fiscal year, those evaporate, and it goes to your next annual donation. So again, we're happy to explain that. I understand that it's not always the most simple concept, but these are the membership level points. Scholarship Society, 120. Platinum Society, 100. Battering Rams, 80. Champions, 60. Super Rams, 40. Director Society, 20. Black and Gold, 10. Captain Society, 7.5. And then the Ram Society, 5. So, moving forward, that correlates directly with the seating chart and also the benefits chart. We went over it in the previous slide, but you can see the season ticket priority limit is probably the thing that correlates most directly with the Ram Athletic Fund benefits chart. So it's a little foggy up here, but again, there's one in front of all of you. So if you're donating at $25,000 or above, you are eligible for 10 season tickets. You're not required to get that many, but if somebody says, I have 10 season tickets or I want to get involved and I need 10 season tickets, the minimum level they need to contribute at is $25,000. So there are other benefits that we won't go through, but there are a few important notes that we want to touch on the benefits chart. And certainly, again, any individual questions on any of this technical aspects, please ask us afterwards. Donation levels in subsequent years. So you are participating in the reseating and you give a $5,000 donation this year. And when your RAM ranking time comes for you to pick your seats, the best available section for you is a $2,500 donation level. So your donation is not refundable. It is a philanthropic donation, but in future years, you may donate at that level if your ticket limit allows for that. So if you have 4 season tickets and you're a Super Ram at $5,000, and the best available that we have for you after the reseating is a $2,500 section, you may drop to $2,500 in the subsequent years. Now, what I tell everybody is, if you're increasing your level or you're thinking of things, think of things for 3 to 5 years. Be comfortable with your decision financially and as a family. Talk to your spouse, consult with people. Make this as a long-term decision. I think that was a situation where I came in right after the first reseating. You're going to be rewarded long-term if you stay at a higher level or if you increase and stick. I've had several people that they didn't get in the section they wanted, so they dropped their donation back, and now they're picking at a higher rate. So it correlates. But think of this as a 3 to 5 year decision. Can I do this each year for 3 to 5 years? I think that's smart. Donor trips. Many of you probably have gone on our donor trips. Previously, we had a $5,000 Super Ram bus trip. Due to the demand, that will move to $7,500 donors. Previously, our battering rams at $10,000 had the ability to fly to the site game with the team. So this year it was Atlanta for the Florida State game, Nashville for the Belmont game a few years ago, Cincinnati last year. That will move from $10,000 to $15,000. We have communicated these changes. While we have everybody's attention, we want to make sure that you are hearing this. So that is also listed on the benefits chart, which was put out in October or November, I believe. The $500 minimum donation for season tickets. That's 1 or 2 season tickets. An important note is if you have an odd number of season tickets, or say you need 3 season tickets, That does not mean that your donation may fall in the $500 level. You must advance to the next level. So if you have a need for 7 tickets, you would need to go to battering rams. So I hope that's clarified. The $500 minimum donation is a situation where, based on the demand, as Kevin addressed, we think that's a fair and reasonable asking price to donate to enjoy the student-athlete experience here through the basketball team. The Commonwealth Room access has moved to a $1,000 donation. I think a lot of us have been in the Commonwealth Room. We know the crowds in there. We're certainly working on that and working to provide you a better experience in there. And it's challenging because you have so many people in there. So per the Fire Marshal's request, with the expected increase in $1,000 donors, that room will have a $1,000 access point going forward. Capital campaign donor notes. So, not sure if this applies to anybody in here, but it does apply to the overall whole. So, the red section on the seating chart, and a lot of the seating chart, people said in October and November when we put it out, wow, that's aggressive. You know, one thing we're factoring in there, we have, and correct me on my math if I'm wrong, I think we have a remaining 180 season ticket holder accounts that have capital campaign donor rights. So they gave to the Siegel Center construction in the mid to late 90s. And we have honored their donation and their lifetime seating rights that they had in accord with that, where they must maintain a $1,000 donation for 4 seats. If they have less than 4 seats, it needs to be $1,000. But if it's more than 4 seats, say if they had 6 seats, they're required to move to the Super Rams level. So they are held to the same standard. So it applies to 4 of their seats. There's currently 180 accounts representing 544 seats. So while that is not an overwhelming chunk of the seating, it is a decent portion of it. So we have to kind of factor that in when people are donating and have an expectation of having these great seats. A lot of those are on lifetime seating rights. They're an important group to us. I think it's important to note, the support that we've had from that group for a very long time. So it was something that we felt was right and ethical to do. Parking. Parking is the one situation where, generally speaking, most anything that we do is by your RAM ranking. That is the easiest way to rank you. Parking. Parking is by annual giving level first, then your RAM ranking. So the UU lot out here, generally speaking, in the past, has taken a $25,000 annual donation to get in there. Then where those spots are awarded are based on their point totals. So Bow versus Broad. In the Directors Society level, $2,500 to $4,999. Unfortunately, there is a split in between that level. The way that we do that is based on your annual giving level, then we rank people by points. And so, obviously, a few years ago, we had more parking. Parking is always a struggle. It's something that we deal with each year. If you have specific questions, please bring them to us after the seminar. Combining donations for season tickets. So, this is a practice that we know goes on. I would say that we understand it, certainly understand pooling your donation, or, hey, if 3 of us go in, we can move to battering ram and hopefully get better seats or whatever it might be. Overall, I would say we do discourage it. We understand it. I would like that you guys communicate to the people that you're donating with. If Kevin and I are donating for battering ram level, $10,000, and we each give $5,000, but the account is under Kevin's name, in the eyes of VCU, Kevin is the donor and always will be. So we've had plenty of situations where people come to me and they say, you don't understand, I've had season tickets since 1979, but I've had them through my friend Kevin. That's an unfortunate circumstance for us. We have to explain that, whenever that account was formed, you're making the decision. And a lot of people do this. So just communicate ahead of time with people. If it's new donors that are getting involved, family members, that can be difficult. We've had to deal with divorces before. There are a lot of different situations, but knowing on the front end, I think this seminar is great. If anything, I think we're going to see like 1/8 of our donor base come through here the next few days. And a lot of you we know, but a lot we haven't had the chance to get introduced to. A personal relationship with a Ram Athletic Fund member staff member or one of our VCU athletic staff is strongly encouraged. Find somebody that you can ask questions to. I'm here. I'll meet up with any of you guys anytime. You know, Glenn, Lionel, myself, any of us. We are here as a resource for you. We're here because of you guys being able to give and support this program. So from a service standpoint, don't hesitate to ask questions. You know, don't try and seek out the answer from a friend of a friend. Come to the source, please. So, wrapping up here, frequently asked questions. How do I get season tickets? You become a Ram Athletic Fund donor. Generally speaking, the people on the wait list have not made a donation to spur themselves off the wait list. We're able to give you kind of an expectation and what's happened in the past in terms of guiding you, but your donation is a personal, philanthropic matter that you need to figure out on your own. We can give you kind of the tools and some of the different qualifications that it's taken to get season tickets in the past, but if anybody has friends or family members that have an interest in obtaining season tickets, please put them in touch with us. We're happy to help them. You know, that's one thing with the season tickets. A lot of people say, I feel like I'm getting pushed out. You know, we truly expect that anybody that has been donating to the Ram Athletic Fund and had season tickets maintaining a $500 to $1,000 donation or above will retain season tickets. It is our extreme hope and expectation that that happens. So, you know, they might not be as good as they were in 1994, but we're here to help with that process and get more and more people involved because that's how this has grown. Will the projected seating chart change? Possibly. We will be in communication with you if it does. That is something where we are constantly tracking. Most people make their donations this time of year. Our donation deadline is May 15th. We're going to hound you with that the next few weeks. So if you make your donation, we will stop sending you emails and stop calling. So May 15th, though, that's a very important date. We will try and communicate with you and give you as much lead time as possible. The technology will be going on board. We'll probably give you about a 2-week head start in terms of trying to figure out the technology and everything. Anybody that participated in the first reseating, be the exact same technology advanced 3 or 4 years. Are there plans to expand the Siegel Center? In a word, no. We like the sellout streak. We like having demand. I see a lot of interesting ideas on different message boards and things like that, and they're not always feasible. So right now, there are no immediate plans. That's not to say never, but
You can say no.
you know, one thing we have done, the corner sections. You've all noticed that a few years ago, we put 4 corner suites in on the Broad Street side. Those are $45,000 annually. Most of the individuals sitting in those seats previously were donating at $500 or less or not donating. That took what you would term some of the least desirable seats in the Siegel Center, although I am a believer that there's no true bad seat in the Siegel Center. And it took that revenue and it put in the Jumbotron and the new sound system. So we are interested in bettering the fan environment for all of you and for all of our fans. You will probably see more premium options, but in terms of pure expansion, nothing is in the works. What will season ticket prices be next year? I'll let Kevin address this.
Yep, so the season ticket price will not change based on the number of games we have. So this year there are $402, and that was based on 18 home games. We're trending between 17 and 18 home games again this coming year. So if it's 18, it'll be $402 again. So the per game price will not change. So that's been a frequent question we've gotten since the reseating's been announced.
Okay. Question I get a lot, or I see a lot. How many season tickets are corporate? How many corporate donors do you have? How many corporate accounts do you have? I hear it all the time. We have an entity called VCU Sports Properties. Many of you know Robbie Robinson, the voice of the Rams. Robbie is a great guy, and he runs that unit for us, which covers a lot of our brand marketing for different organizations. Robbie has access to 360 tickets in the Siegel Center. That is it. Now, what we do have plenty of is individuals donating through their own personal business, which we understand. And then individuals that donate at a higher level and have access to more season tickets. We cannot dictate who they give their season tickets to in terms of, the seats next to me, I see a different person in every game. It might be a family member, it might be a friend, it might be a colleague, a client. We're not in the business of dictating how people use their season tickets, but this is important. 360 tickets only truly are operated by VCU Sports Properties. The rest, VCU Athletics and the Ram Athletic Fund. And that is the best way to get season tickets, is in your involvement with VCU Athletics through us. If I donate X this year but can only give Y next year, how does that affect my seating? So I have 4 season tickets, and I'm donating at $5,000, and I get one of the light blue sections in the reseating, the $5,000 section. We have an unfortunate downfall, and I cannot maintain that donation in subsequent years. Like I said, think of it as a 3 to 5 year decision, but we understand that things happen. You would please alert us in that situation. We'd say, I'm going to be able to retain my donation, but only at $1,000. Then with the turnover that we have each year, that 5 to 7%, we would call and contact you. Usually it's in August or September, and we would say, hey, Joe, we have these seats available at your new donation level. So that is how that process works. That question comes up a lot. But that is the entire presentation, so I'll turn it over to Glenn.
So hopefully that gives you an overview, big picture of, our whole philosophy from an athletic department standpoint, our student athlete focus, the revenue, the revenue generating part of it, and why we do the whole reseating process, and then the actual reseating process. For many of you, I think you've been through this before, so we really haven't changed too much. But for some of you who are going through it for the first time, hopefully we've been able to answer some of your questions. If there are any general, and I mean general, questions, we'll take them now.
Bob? If you purchase 6 tickets, plus that puts you in the $5,000 range. 6 people are not going to ride in one car, generally.
Depends on the start. Yep, I'll give you that.
So
That's a good point. Parking, one thing I failed to mention, thank you. You have access to purchase 2 parking passes. So a donor at $2,500 or above has access to that. Generally speaking, how this goes, everybody gets their first pass first. So you get that, then we go and cycle through to the people that get a second pass, and we do it by points. There are far less people that get 2 passes, so everybody gets their first, and then we go back to the top and go down that way.
A lot just depends on, we're just hamstrung a lot of times by what the university will give us from a parking standpoint. And obviously, we've lost a lot of parking for the last couple of years around here. Other general questions? Yes, sir.
Sorry if I missed this. What was the timing for the seat selection, for actually going in technology-wise and selecting?
Sure. So May 15th is the deadline for your donations. In June, we will communicate with all of our donors that have made a donation of $500 or above in the fiscal year. We'll say you are eligible for reseating, and we will inquire. So what you will do then, I believe it will be June, right, Kevin?
Yeah.
You will put a $200 deposit down on however many season tickets you are eligible and want. So if someone is eligible for 6 season tickets, but they only happen to need 2, they put a $400 deposit down. That gives us a better idea of exactly how many people will have picking how many seats. In July and August, we will go through the reseating process, probably late July, early August, around there. We'll communicate more dates. Truthfully, we just don't know specifics yet. But then the $400 that you put for the deposit down on your season tickets would go towards the cost of the season tickets. So you would not need to do the full amount. You would do, if it was $402, you'd have $404 left to pay there. And that would be in September.
Any other general questions? Excellent. All right. So, first of all, thank you very much for coming. We really appreciate your time. Hopefully this has been beneficial to all of you. If you have individual questions, please see one of the development staff members, either Russell, Abby, Sean, Ryan, or Kevin. and they will be able to help you out. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.